Hi, beautiful souls. Today I'm sharing a little of what's occurring in my live stream. So I've been asking my high self for guidance, for wisdom, for insight on how to become a better writer and ways that I may improve my creative process. I've been asking this quite a lot. But I ask so many different things, and I always ask for assistance during dream time. So last night I had this fascinating dream that I was way in the future, and I was with some other explorers here on the Earth plane. Each of us carried backpacks with certain things tied to it, and everything must be tied to it at all times. Everybody here on this planet had different curriculums. There wasn't one curriculum in schools, because the more that everybody learnt different curriculums, it meant the more that we could share. And so we came together to share what we had learnt, and that way we flourished collectively. Now I say we collectively, but I was in a distinct group of explorers, and it almost felt like we went into some sort of capsule, but I don't think that was what it was. And I'm in a group with about 6 other beings, and this, I don't know if this is my high self like saying, hey, write about this will be helpful. Because I also said, like, so many writers say, put your lead character into a real situation, and then that way you capture the reader. And then I looked through all of the best books that people have been reading, or the books that are supposedly like the best books, and so many of them are really very dark, and it says a lot about the human psyche and where their point of attraction is bringing them, what their lives must be like, because if they take themselves to these places in their reading matter, then that's what they're going to be attracting more of. So I was like, well, higher self, this is not the kind of reading I want to bring forth, or the writing that I want to bring forth into New Earth. I want to be able to produce New Earth ways of writing, New Earth ways of capturing the reader's attention without all of the fear, the doom and the gloom. So maybe this is the answer from my higher self, or maybe this is a preview of coming times, because everything is changing. So if we're changing as humanity, everything else is changing as well. And I've noticed this, and I've said this so many times before, in things like the mineral kingdom and the plant kingdom and the tree kingdom and the bird kingdom. And even Bird Kingdom have been giving me messages lately. I had a sparrow fly into my house the other day, and I wasn't really very excited about that. But it was almost like it was, well, it wasn't almost like, it was bringing me a message. Courage moving forwards, courage. The humble sparrow with its courage and its beautiful song and its unseen colours, making it appear like people don't really look at sparrows much. And here it was, boldly coming forth with a message, with its beautiful song, although it wasn't actually singing. Anyway, to get back to this dream. So I'm in this huge warehouse, and this is the biggest warehouse you can ever imagine. It's the biggest warehouse I've ever been in. And I'm walking along a top, like a landing, and this landing floor, which is everything is metal, so you can hear a slight metally sound as you walk, as it reverberates from each footstep. And to the left of me there's all of these models of primates throughout all time, and some of these primates are the same size as dinosaurs. So we're up on this top floor, me and my group of fellow explorers, and this one of these primates is so vast. It's, I don't know, enormous, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex in size, like King Kong, but it didn't look like King Kong. And then there's all these other different primates, and we get to the end, and then I suddenly went into like fear for a second, so I stopped and I recalibrated. We went through the metal doors, and then we went down some steps, and we came through into this area that was like a beach, but it was not a long paramanic beach. It was a short beach within this big, massive, barn-like place. And we were sitting on this rocky outcrop in the center. And as we're sitting in the center, the sea is coming in from one side, but it's also at the other side, and it's starting to cut us off a little bit. And I said to my fellow explorers, do you think the professors are keeping an eye on this? Do you think we should move? And we were like, yes, let's move. So we quickly moved, and as we got to the side of the sea, off the rocky outcrop, we went to the back of this big room and went through these doors. As we went through these doors, we were all gathered there, professors, other explorers from other groups, and I had this urge to go and swim. So I thought, well, it's not far, I can just go through the door again, go and have a quick swim and come back, and no one will know anything about it. It will be easy. So I went to go to have a swim, and as I went to go to have this swim, I suddenly hear this beautiful singing sound, this sound like mermaids singing. If anyone's heard mermaids singing, or if anyone's visited the temples of Poseidon before, you will know that sweet, beautiful sound like crystals, like when you rub a finger around a glass, that beautiful sound like the seraphim. But there's like a whispering as well, like a whispering sound that you get from the sea and from the sea beings, the beings that live within the sea. They have a whisper, whisper, sound going on, like a whistling whisper. And it's the sea and the shingle and the seaweeds and everything in between the voices that they use. And of course the voices are a different frequency to the voices on land. For humans aren't necessarily aware of these sounds. So this beautiful, beautiful music just fills me, and I'm just like looking up, and I'm just watching all of these sea urchins hanging from the ceiling. Anemones. Yes, they're anemones. I think a sea urchin is slightly different. And they are glistening like big jewels. I mean, we all know what sea urchins or anemones look like, but these are on a different level because they are enormous. They're about 6 foot. And we're in this huge, enormous, big barn. So I look up and I'm like, wow. And then I was just like standing there, mesmerized by the beauty and the singing. And then I stopped and I was like, okay, let's walk away now. Time to walk away. So I turned to walk away, but they had disattached themselves from the ceiling, and they were walking after me, singing to me, trying to lure me to them, like, come, come. Although they weren't saying come, come. And so I wanted to go and find my group to regroup. And they kept on singing and walking after me because they had evolved to walk on land, not just to be in the sea. And I don't know if they meant me harm at all. Because we're in New Earth at this stage, there's no harm, there's no fears. Unless, of course, you let them in. And this is the point of the dream, and this is what I want to share, is that often we think, yeah, I'm over all of that, I'm not in fear anymore. And of course fears will keep cropping up. You will keep getting opportunities to resolve certain fears within you, like I mentioned earlier with birds that flew into my house and I wasn't expecting it. And as the bird flew right into my face as I drew a curtain, I screamed because I wasn't prepared. And when you're not prepared for something, if you're not expecting something, and if it's out of context for you in that moment, it may seem frightening at first. And yes, you can recalibrate yourself straight away, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm sure that's normal. I'm sure that Jesus himself screamed at times when, these kind of things happen. But what I have believe, or what I feel is to be true, is that then you manage to make friends with even those types of fears that you would have normally have had. So even though in that moment you might go, oh my goodness, or like, oh God, no, I think I must walk away from these sea urchins, these enemies that are walking towards me. You start to make peace with everything. And so that you sit and are able to just be with anything. The bird, in time, if it to happen again, would I act the same way or react the same way? Will I also be able to hone my responses to the stimuli that surrounds me, the stimuli as we enter New Earth, and the different ways that things will occur and appear to us? For me, it's very normal to hear trees, to hear the sea, to speak to mermaids, to speak to galactic beings. For me, that's very normal. For someone else, that might be a bit disturbing, a bit unsettling. And actually, when I first met the Lyrans, I was like, that's a little bit different. So my message today is one of, although, this may be part of my highest self, assisting me to see other ways of presenting stories that may interest others. It may also be, well, this is what's happening. Why don't you write about this? Prepare people for what may come. And this is seriously, this might sound like a scary dream. But it wasn't scary, because when you are at peace, knowing that things are changing, and so, a lot of the time humans have always had to control things because of their fears. Let's control things, let's break things in, let's break in those wild horses over there, let's put muzzles on those dogs. And all of these things are fears, and fears are what actually make these creatures rebel and react. Whereas if you're peaceful, and you're not in fear, a fearful dog or a dog that has aggressive tendencies will never attack you. It's just not possible. It can only be if you've got any kind of resonance within you of fear, that it will be like, and look for that. So it's a way for you to feel into your mastery in many ways. How courageous am I feeling right now? How at peace am I with everything? And I'm not saying to put yourself in situations that you would find scary just to test this out, but to maybe just hone the courageous lion that you are within each day. Just breathe into that strength, into that divine image of who you are becoming. I'm courageous, I'm brave. Hone that part of you as well. Because there are so many different aspects that we wish to hone, and this is one that is very useful because it calms your whole nervous system. It assists you to be able to see things from a different perspective, because when we are in a little bit of fear, we don't see things from a calm perspective. We imagine the worst because our head gets involved, instead of actually coming from our heart and being calm and relaxed and going, okay, how does this feel? What is this feeling like? Okay. So I've got some sea anemones walking towards me. Okay. They're really pretty and they're singing a beautiful song. Is there anything about this that is disturbing? Okay, they're walking towards me. What do they want from me? Okay, heart, tell me. Life is changing. Things are changing. We are changing. All is changing. How do you want to greet the new? How do you want to express yourself and show up in the new? What are you wishing for? Are you content in the way that your life stream is in this now? What kind of dreams are you having? Are you writing them down? Do you sit and meditate and speak with your highest self to receive the wisdom from within you? You have the map for you. Only you do. No one else does. Thank you for watching. My name's Zaza. If you like this video, share it, subscribe, comment. Feel called to do so. Send you many blessings, joy, peace and love on your walkie. Peace.